Oh my gosh, good morning. I'm doing a pop up this morning. It's Monday, July 8th. And gosh, it's been a while since I've been here. And June has been crazy. So I want to thank you all for being so patient with me. You've been sending your questions in, and June's just been nuts. And I've had to really prioritize some things. So it's, I don't think I've had such a busy year. But it's been wonderful. I've gotten to travel, see my family. I think I've seen my family, my mom and my sisters, more this year than I have in probably the last 20 years. So that's been really, really lovely. And I'm really grateful for that. And company, company, company. So a lot of unplanned visits and events this summer so far. And hopefully we'll get back on a schedule here soon. So thank you all for just your support and your patience. And I am glad to be here doing just a quick little pop up this morning. Okay, so um, just to get back into the practice of things, my name is Betsy Grady, and I work with the Akashic Records. So I'm going to read the Akashic Prayer and take a second to um, just kind of open up, see what the guides have to say, and then I'm going to jump into some questions that have been sitting here for a little bit. So, okay. If it feels good to you, whether you're watching this live now or later, close your eyes and let yourself relax while I read the prayer. And just, I always say, let yourself be open to receive whatever information comes through, whatever messages, whether you send a question or not, you'll get something. Your guides brought you here for a reason. Okay. I ask God if He will have a shield of love and truth around you permanently, so only God's love and truth will exist between you and me. I allow the masters, teachers, and loved ones of you to channel through me out of whatever realm to say whatever they wish. I ask the permission of the Lords of the Akashic Records so I'm able to look into the records of you and remove whatever information I'm allowed. Okay. Okay. So the guides are saying, and this kind of applies to me, but to a lot of us tuning in, a lot of you there tuning in, they're saying they would have me look at this summer so far like it's like I've been caught in a rip current. And I know we're seeing a lot of that on the news. That's a real thing out there. And having lived on the coast for 30 years, it really is a big deal. Rip currents are real. And they are telling me, and that for many of us, it feels like we're in a rip current. And while we make an effort to swim against that current to get back to shore where we feel safe and our feet are, on solid earth again, they said, really, just like you hear the guidance on the news or from lifeguards, the the work in the rip current is to let go and to just let the current take you and let just be in that flow of it. So release any resistance you have and quit swimming against it and let the rip current carry you out a little further than you might be comfortable with, because that is where growth happens, so to speak. And what happens when the rip current pulls you out, it eventually stops. It drops you at a place. And then you can make your way back into shore in a much easier stride and pace. And so they said what often happens to people is in that resistance in the initial current, people panic and they're using all their strength and effort to get back to shore. And then they start to panic. And that's really why people don't make it often. And so they want you and me to recognize when we feel like we're in that panic mode or we feel like we have to effort more than we need to. Um, and let that be a clue and a hint to just relax, let go, let the current take you where it's supposed to take you and drop you out where you can swim safely back to shore. So the point being is whatever you're going through is not permanent. It will drop you out at some point, and you will be able to kind of reassess where you are and get back to shore and get your feet on solid ground. And they said so we might find, this month here's a rip current, might be September's a rip current, could be November's a rip current. But just be aware when you feel like you're just being pulled against your will and you start to panic or you get worried or you effort too much, that's your sign to let go and trust that it will dissipate at some point and you can easily come back in. So I love that. I love that. Okay. I am going to hop to some questions here. Let's see here. Okay. There's one. I have been struggling a lot, emphasized a lot, the past 9 months, emotionally and financially, due to grief and other life upheavals. Will I find relief soon, and where should I focus? Okay, let's see here. All right. Well, one of the things that I'm hearing to tell you is that you have been through a lot and a lot of changes, a lot of grief. And so it's almost like your rip current's been a little bit longer than most. And so even though I'm hearing to tell you the rip current has dropped you off, you're still in that vibration of it, if that makes sense. So you're still reacting to it. And your guides are saying, it's almost like you need to change something around you or go to like have a reset in some way. So I don't know if it's redoing the house that you're in, whether it's painting, moving furniture, or just getting rid of stuff. It just feels like changing your environment. It could be that you need to go visit a friend somewhere 2 weeks, just be in a different scene, be in a different environment is what it feels like. You might decide to actually make a big change, more big change, and sell the house that you're in. It just feels like a real shift. I feel like you might go somewhere different. And I don't know if that's permanent or just temporary, but it feels like one of the best things you could do for yourself right now is change your environment, whether it's the one you're living in now or just going away for a little bit. But it looks like that would help. It's something and you needs a reset, and the environment is a big deal to make that happen. So you will get some relief soon, but it feels like the reset has to happen first to get you out of that current state that you're in. Like just keep thinking that you're still reacting to a rip current that's dropped you out, and you just haven't recognized you got dropped out. So I'm not sure if that makes sense, but let me see if there was anything else. Where should I focus? Okay. I am hearing to learn something. Where should you focus to learn something? I don't know if you know how to golf or it's so funny. I'm not hearing that it's anything like a spiritual art that you're meant to learn. Yeah, it feels like something active, something physical. Um, so, I mean, it could be pickleball, but it just feels like you're being invited to learn something like that will get you out, get you active, get you around people, learning a new skill. It's so interesting. This is on down the road. For some reason, now they're bringing up massage. I don't know if you've ever wanted to learn that. do that in any way, but there is something out there. I'm not hearing it right now, but something to consider for the future. Okay, thank you for your question. All right, here we go. I would like to ask a question. Now, this one, let me see here. Is it on my soul path to move into the horse world again? And if so, what does it entail by way of change? How important are they to me? Okay. Let's see here. Well, horses are a wonderful connection. It does look like it would be valuable to you. I don't feel like it's a permanent thing. It feels like something to do temporarily for maybe about, I would say, anywhere from 6 months to a year. And it could be just to be around that energy again, to get your vibration in tune with the horse energy again. Um, you may find that you just volunteer at a barn to ride a little bit. It's just as a nice trade. But I don't feel like it's too extensive. Not right now. Not right now. Could it be in the next 3 years? Yeah. Could you decide to get your own horse in that time frame? I would say yes. And it also feels like a gift could come your way in that, as in I don't feel like you would have to overextend in any way financially, that something would come your way. But I would get into the environment and just know it's good for your soul. And it could be something that turns into a little bit more in the next 3 years. But it looks like meeting the right people, being in the right place. They are telling me, no pun intended, but there is a gift horse. And that could be a pun intended, but not really. I'm not sure what that means, but there could be a gift horse out there for you. And they're saying within the next 3 years. So, yes, start making your way towards that. Okay. This is so much fun, y'all. I have so missed these live sessions and answering your questions. So I'm just so tickled to be here. Okay. I am a little overwhelmed with life right now. I feel like I'm running out of time. My son's having such a hard time. He had a hard time in school last year. Don't want to send him back to that school. There are so many options here. I'm stunned. Where is he supposed to be this coming year for the best education and mental physical experience? Okay, let's see. Okay. For some reason, I'm hearing, I don't know if this will make sense to you, but there is a place. They're saying there's the name of a flower. So I don't know if that's in the street or in the name of the school, but there's something to do. There's an association with a flower. I don't know what that might mean for you, but I would look at all those options you have and see what connection you can make with the flower. So, like I said, whether the location facility is on a street with that name, if there's if it's known for that area, or the actual place has some kind of association with the flower, but they are telling me there is, and they're using that literally and figuratively. Like, there really is a place for him to be, so not homeschool, for him to grow and blossom. And they're telling me that you'll find that place and to relax and trust that you'll be guided to it. For right now, there's something, like I said, with the flower. Now, you could drive up to some of these places, just go look at them, and one may just have so many flowers, a flower garden or whatever. That may be your sign too, but I would be open to see what the flower leads you to. Okay, thanks for asking. Okay. Okay, so here's a question. I am thinking about being a hospice volunteer and want to know what my guides have to say about that. Okay. So I am hearing that you'll find great reward in that. Um, and it will be something that you are glad that you chose to do. So for sure, I would move towards that. I don't know how long you'll do it, if it's just something you will just always do. It really could be. Um, doesn't feel full time or anything like that. Just like you said, a volunteer. Um, and when it really fits into your schedule, yet it does feel like it's something I think you'll be connected with for a while, and that you'll be glad you did it. Okay. Here's one. I am still looking for what to do with my life as all obligations have finished. Been thinking of moving to Washington State. Yeah, I want to spend the rest of the time I have being in service to others. Well, it's so interesting. This question follows the one previous, and hospice may be a place that you want to be too. If not, what they're showing me was so interesting. You might want to do some volunteer work at a senior center, and I'm talking senior, well, a nursing home would be a better way, where there are people there that aren't as active and mobile and need a little bit more stimulation. For some reason, I'm hearing that your energy there would be so valuable and welcomed. So that is something to consider. Washington State, I see a heart there for you. It feels like for you, you would appreciate again that change of scenery that we were talking about in the earlier question. And that's always good to do. Changing your scenery is always good to do. It does hit some kind of reset button. So whether you choose that temporarily or permanently, for you, I am hearing that you would love the mountain energy in Washington State, and again being on the coast there too. It's like you have the best of both. Um, I'm hearing you would appreciate what the nature has to offer you. And it also feels like there's people you're meant to meet there. But again, that could be a temporary place. You might just go stay for a little while. Um, so I would honor that impulse or intuition you have around Washington State and see what gifts lie for you there. And then really look into something with the nursing homes. Okay, this is so much fun. Okay, here's one. I have an engineering firm that's trying to lure my business partner and me into working for them. They are offering to compensate us for walking away from our business. What do the guides have to say about this? Okay. What an interesting development. So, two things that the guides are saying is this is a nudge for you to consider change. Wow, they're talking about change a lot today. And they are suggesting that you be open to how you want to see your life differently. In what area do you want to see change? So, is this an opportunity or is it a nudge to do something different? I am hearing it is an opportunity and that you are in a place of negotiating power, that you can kind of dictate your role. It feels like hiring you more as consultants, um, obviously taking the compensation that they're offering, and yet structuring, I would say, your role for them in the exact way you want. Um, There's something about it, I would say, that feels good. Give me a second here. They're giving me an image of But I don't know what this might mean for you, but they're giving me an image of a wave, but surfing on the top of the wave, like you're just riding the wave, you're on top of the wave, you're on the surfboard, and it just feels like a nice ride in a clean wave. So I would say with an image like that, it's something to take seriously, really consider, and know that you have the ability to structure the role you would, play for them in their company the way you want it. So, and it also feels like you could, in a year or two, decide whether you want to stay or not. So, like, you're not going to be bound there. And what I'm hearing for you, this is really interesting. If you had to walk away from your business today and never do it again, that feels too grand. If you take this step with this other company in a couple years, you may just feel like you can walk away and there's no hard feelings anywhere. So it almost is easing your way out as you start opening up to what's next for you to focus on in life. So I would say consider it seriously. That's so cool. A neat development. It'll be also kind of cool to see who you might meet. Okay, this is fun. Okay. All right, let me see here. Okay, is my manuscript ready to send to the agents I met at the conference? And do I need to include the scene at the end that I haven't written yet? Okay. I am hearing yes and yes to that. So it is ready, and I would say, and add that scene at the end. When they show the scene at the end, the image that I get with that is a firecracker, like like that's going to be a real bang to the end for some reason. It feels good, so powerful, I would say. So yes. Okay. All right. Let me see here. Okay. All right. Let's see. My question is there a way to help heal my older daughter's decade-long health issue? And if time, let's see, will my younger daughter find a sacred, happy partnership? She is so disheartened with the dating apps. Okay. Um, it's so funny. I'm hearing so many things about dating apps these days. And for some people, they're still working. And for some people, they're not. And I always dial that stuff down just from what comes through in the records to energy, to vibration, and um, what we're lining up with, what subconsciously we feel good about lining up with. So I would say a couple things for both of them. This could be really helpful, and it may not be something they want to do, but it's something you could do. I would really look into the emotion code work and the body code work, because you clear subconscious patterns with that. And so if you have, when we're not living a life we want to be living, it's because we have limiting beliefs somewhere in our subconscious that we're totally unaware of. That's why it's in our subconscious. Yet, we're getting evidence of it by the experiences we're having. So that work in particular, the emotion code, could help your one daughter with, relationship patterns, any beliefs that she has around there, maybe that she's not worthy. There could be some belief in there that, you, I'm using this term loosely, but that Prince Charming doesn't exist, so to speak. That's all fairy tales. For your other daughter, the health issues, and that is what that work was designed for, because whenever we're having that disease in the body, it's because we have an emotional relationship to it. And so remember, when anything manifests into our physical, it's been in energy for a long time prior. So When something shows up in the body, it's been energetically in the making for a while. So I would highly recommend you look into that work. And if you need the name of someone, just send me a message. I will share with you who I know that does it, and I think she's just wonderful. Um, and that could really create a new trajectory for each of them. So, and you too. So, um, it's neat work. Let me see if there's anything else here. Yeah, I would say you would find that quite valuable. Let me see if there's anything else here. So I'm just hearing trust is is something that looks like all of you are working this lifetime. That's it's a piece that's shared with the three of you, that trusting, trusting, trusting. And they're just saying that's something y'all are working with. Um, I'm not sure if that makes sense to you or not, but this is part of that journey. So, yeah, that could be really helpful to you. Okay. All right, let me see here. Okay, here. Let's see. This one's a little long. Let's see if I can. All right, I can't do that one right now. That one's a little long. But I'll find a way to condense it. Okay. Here's one. My husband was recently told that he had no future growth for his in his current company. Despite being let down, he is both historically and currently quite resistant to look elsewhere for a better job and fit for him. He just received his master's degree, so he's more capable than ever of finding an improvement in career, or at least with another company. Does Spirit have any advice for him in moving forward with his work situation? Okay, let's see here. And I see you guys joining on today. Thank you for being here live with me. I'm gonna get to your questions too here in just a second. Okay, so for your husband, for him too, that emotion code work is really powerful. And for men in particular that don't like to discuss their problems, they don't have to. That's what's so cool about this work. It's not talk therapy. It's not any of that. It's they just pretty much have to sit there. So for him, there's just fear moving forward, fear of what's out there. I am hearing fear of getting rejected again and again and again. So what's happening for him is he has this subconscious fear of rejection, and he keeps meeting with rejection. And it feels like just he's had this in other places too, but mostly in his careers where it's showing up. And so this is happening to help him overcome that fear of rejection. And at the same time, when he does that, when he starts to, I would say, not be limited by that fear, move through that fear, it's about him really shining in that light that he is. So I'm also afraid hearing he's afraid to draw a lot of attention to him. And so this is big work that he's up to, but it's almost like they're just showing me it's almost like turning the key. It's not big work. It's like there's just it's almost like little tweaks, and he can be liberated from this and have a very different life. He's lucky to have you and your support and your encouragement and your faith and your trust and belief in him. And so I'm hearing it's important for you to keep seeing that light in him, and don't be afraid to kind of push a little bit. And it's not like you're swimming against the current at all, like that rip current thing. This is more about he drew you to him for a reason, you drew him for a reason. And you really will help him move through this. Let's see here. Well, I would say in November, it feels like things are going to shift in November. So you still got a little, time to go. Yet something feels different in November for him. Some kind of change. And this is just what the guides are saying. And you already know this. When we don't honor the messages that are coming, the signs that are coming, they just get louder. And sometimes oftentimes forced change comes. So I'm not saying the change in November is positive or negative, but it could be forced if he's not actively seeking change. But either way, you're going to get support and change. So something is coming. Hopefully that is helpful. Okay. 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 All right. Let me see here. Okay. Let me see here. Good morning, Mimi. I'm so glad to see you on here. Okay. What would your guides like for you to know? Okay. Let's see here. Okay, here. They're telling me that you still bring upliftment with your energy, with your presence, with your being. And that's, even if you're not sure where that is or how that is, they're telling me that you still are bringing uplifting energy, and it's being well received where you are, being really helpful where you are. And so they want to thank you for that. In here, they're also telling me that there's still wisdom within you that you are sharing that needs to be shared. And so that is also helpful. You're not done with that. There's still a little bit more to come there. They are showing feathers around you. Here. Feathers, and I'm not sure if you've been finding feathers or not, but they're showing feathers around you. Almost like you are getting closer to that spirit world, feeling that spirit world more. I would say physically feeling it. There's a lot of spirit energy around you. I'm also hearing, this is so interesting. I don't know if you've been getting messages in your sleep or things have been coming to you during the day, but it feels like they're just showing me lots of voices around you, speaking to you. So I don't know if you can even discern between all of that around you, but it feels like messages are still coming through, people wanting to communicate. Here. I don't know if you're sharing any messages for people that are coming through, but it looks like there's a lot trying to come in there. Let me see. One second, let me just see. They are, they're showing me, it's like you're holding a staff, a rod, almost like it's not a wand. It feels like a staff that's gold with a gold ball on top. I don't know what that might mean, but let me see here. I don't know if you've ever, I'm sure you've done past life stuff and looked at past life stuff, but they are telling me that one of your recent lifetimes you sat on a throne and there's an air of royalty about you. And they want you to really embrace that and feel that energy of that, because there's something there that feels really satisfying. I don't know what that might mean. Um, but you have a lot more power than you might realize you have. A lot more influence. So I don't know why they want you to remember that for some reason, but it is about remembering who you are, the power that you have, the influence that you have. And let me see here. I want to see what this past life thing is, if they have more around it. They said you were a good ruler and you did rule a kind of kingdom, and that you were very powerful, very strong, and you were also very compassionate. And you really ruled with fairness and integrity. And so part of what you are seeing in today's world, our world in particular, especially the US right now, is really tugging at your heart because it's so contrary to what you know uh, is best, if that makes sense. You've been there, you've succeeded in that, and you know what this country needs. And so they are telling me to tell you to keep holding that vision and keep seeing what this country needs, not what it doesn't need, if that makes sense. But they're telling me that your role in this recent lifetime was happy, and there was a lot of harmony there, and there was a lot of joy. And so it's hard for you to see what's happening now because so many decisions and fights and whatever. But they're saying to just hold on to what you know is true, what can be true for this country, that was true for you in this previous lifetime. And they said that would be really helpful. Wow, that's kind of cool. It is really hard, though, I have to say, when we are looking at things in our life that we don't like, it's hard not to see them. And yet, so it's really big work when we just have to hold that vision of what can come, what is out there, what opportunities lie there. And you know what? I'm so glad you asked that question and this came through, because each and every one of us today that has a question or a situation in life that we're looking at that we don't like or we wish was different, if we could train ourselves and focus ourselves on what we can create, what the opportunities do lie there, what we know can be our truth, then we can move towards that. So thank you for asking that. That was really awesome. Okay, let's see here. Is there a message for my ex-husband, Bernard Richardson Jr.? Thank you. And was there a reason for his passing? Okay. Let's see, Bernard Richardson Jr. Let me see here. Well, I'll tell you, this is a general rule of passing. And this is true for animals, for people alike. When we pass, when we choose to exit this planet and move into non-physical, on some level, it's because our soul feels really complete. And now I will say this, the caveat there, when there are accidents, sudden things, I mean, too, that is the way we choose to exit. Yet sometimes we exit because it's part of the growth for the people that we leave behind, if that makes sense. But most of the time we exit because we feel complete. Our soul feels complete. We came what we came to do. We had the experiences we wanted to have, in our soul. And so it's like we're free to go on and do something else. So And Bernard Richardson Jr. Let's see if I get anything right here. I am not getting anything around him in particular. Let's see if I can. Let's see. I can't tell. It feels like there's a son. There's a male figure around him. It feels like that this is about. There's something with a contract with a male figure. I don't know if that makes sense to you. I don't know if he has a son-in-law, or someone he mentored, but it feels like there's somebody a little bit younger, male, that this is really going to impact. So part of it is with that. Let me see here. The only image I'm getting from him, and I don't know again if this will make sense to you, but he's showing me a book. Give me a second. That's really vague. I don't know if there's a book you have next to you. Okay. Oh, that makes sense. Your son. Okay. There's something here with the book. I don't know if you're writing a book or somebody's written a book or going to write, or if you're reading something that's really helpful right now. But I would say I am seeing the number 73, like turn to page 73. I would see what's on that page. And it could be a book that you have near to you. It feels like there's a message in that. And there's also a dog around him. So I don't know if y'all lost a dog a long time ago, or but he's showing a dog with him, like he's happy to be reunited with. I could be wrong on that. It could be a cat, but it feels like a dog. And it could be one even from his childhood that he's reaching for or with. So here, but there's definitely something around your son. Also, when somebody passes like this, especially, for your son, it could be for you too. It's an opportunity for you to really open up your own psychic channels in your intuitive mind to be able to start connecting with him in non-physical. And so, sometimes when someone leaves early like this, part of that design is they start showing up in ways you can't even imagine. But what they're doing is trying to teach you that language of non-physical so that you really start believing and knowing that they're there, and you learn to really build that muscle. And when you have that, it's like, gosh, you just apply that to everything and you never feel alone here. And two, they can do more for you in spirit than they could here in person. So here, we're so limited in our physical, and feels like he was challenged in some way. He's not showing me that specifically, but I don't know if that's mentally, if he had some anger, or just he was locked down in some way. But he's free from that now, and he can be more available and more helpful. And he said he's happy. He's happy. It looks like happiness eluded him here. But I'm hearing to tell you that. And he's eager to help. Oh. So hopefully that was helpful to you. And I thank you for tuning in and asking that. Okay, let's see here. All right, I'm just going to see anything else we get today. Oh, okay, yeah. Well, just know he's happy now. So thank you for sharing sharing a little bit about that. Okay, so I would say, just to summarize, asking the guides if they have any parting message, and they said, no, just summarize these two things. Remember, sometimes we're going to feel like we're in a rip current, and it's important to let the current just drop you where it's going to drop you. And then you'll make your way back. And the second thing is, like the question about the past life with the royal kingdom that existed in harmony, and is to look forward and hold the vision of what you want, where you want to go, where you want to be, and really make that your priority instead of always seeing what you don't want to see. They said those two things can be so helpful as we navigate the next few months. Let's see here. And they just want to say, thank you for being interested in their messages, in this work. They are so grateful to be able to share in this way, as am I. And I will let you know when I'll be on again. I don't have a set schedule for July, but again, I'm going to try and do weekly, and I will, today was a pop-up, yet I will give some heads up before the next one. So again, if y'all want to send me your questions, please do so to my email address. That's Betsy, Betsey, at betsygrady.com. That's the easiest place for me to get them. And of course, I love to make time for you guys joining in here and sending your questions. And I think that's it. Y'all have a beautiful week, and I will see you soon. If I may see you another time this week, you never know. Friday's looking pretty open for me, but we'll see. Otherwise, I'll see you next week. Okay, thanks, you guys. Bye. Oh, I hit the wrong thing.